So when I first started Social Driver, people were coming to me all the time saying, you know, I think I need a web strategy because I'm trying different things online and it's not really resulting in anything, or they were saying, you know, I just don't understand what I'm supposed to do. And what I was finding was a lot of the frustration was coming because these people were executives, they were communications people, they were from different functions within the organization, and they weren't necessarily techies or, you know, social media people. And so they were kind of getting lost in a lot of the jargon, a lot of the buzz that were going around, and they just weren't sure where to start. And so I developed a tool called the Social Driver Canvas, and that's what I'm going to cover today. And it's a way that you can, across your organization, different people, different roles, still get the input that you need to be able to build your web strategy and get it off the ground. So first, before we go into that, I just want to kind of talk about where does a web strategy fit into an organization's toolkit. So we view kind of the communications world in these three buckets. There's paid media, and this is advertising, billboards, you know, TV, commercials, all that fun stuff. Then there's earned media. That's where you go out and you pitch stories to blogs, to newspapers, magazines, and you get people to write about you. They will syndicate your message in their news story. And then there's this whole idea of owned media. And owned media is your list. It's how you can communicate directly with the people that you want to communicate with. And you turn your people into syndicators, and you hope that they'll share your message. So this could be your email list, your Facebook account, your Twitter, your mailing list, telephone book, whatever. It's always been there. There's always been owned media, but what's really exciting is right now with all these digital tools, you can really scale your owned media and get the type of results that you were only able to get with earned media and paid media. Now it's kind of a co-equal of all of those. So when you're looking at your owned media, okay, so this is the Social Driver Canvas right here. Some people, I mean, you could call it kind of the Swiss Army knife of digital media because it does a lot of different things, but we prefer if you called it the Social Driver Canvas because it's like a free commercial for us every time you use it. So it really is like the Swiss Army knife though, because it has more than one function. So what we do, I'll kind of walk you through the basics of it first, and then I'll kind of explain how it's used in the three ways that you can really use this in your organization. First of all, we take communication and we break it up into four areas: talking, listening, engaging, and sharing. And talking is where you're creating stuff. You're creating content. You're posting blog posts. You're sending out email newsletters. You're posting videos to your YouTube, all that stuff. Listening is obviously when people are talking back, you're listening. What's important too is that you're responding. So maybe this is your contact form on your website, or somebody writes a comment on your blog. You respond in one way or the other. You listen to it. But it's also really important to note that listening is also having good analytics, having good measurement, setting up the right filters on these tools out there like Google Reader and things like that, where you can listen to people in your audience. Engaging is opportunities where you bring people together to talk to one another. So these are people who are already your customers, or they're already on your list. They're already convinced that, you know, I need to, you know, be connected to you, but you're giving them a chance to talk to each other. In the offline world, that's like this, right? We brought all of you together here. It's conferences, it's meetings. You can do it online too. And the reason why engaging is so important is we always tell the story about Anthony worked for a candidate for Congress, and you know, she'd stand outside the grocery store and she'd shake people's hands when she's walking through the door. And every time somebody walked by and they shook her hand, she talked to them for 10, 15, maybe 30 seconds. And it felt like she talked to them for 30 seconds and they went on, you know, on with their day. But whenever she would bring them to a picnic in the park, you know, in their neighborhood, and everyone would come out and eat hot dogs together and, you know, drink soda and talk about, you know, what their neighborhood's like. You know, she may only have time to spend 30 seconds with each person, but because everyone was there for an hour talking about it, they felt like they spent an hour with her campaign, and they felt that much closer for it. Any problems that were solved in the neighborhood, you know, that need to be addressed, that were addressed there, she got the credit for that. So you get the credit when you get people to engage. And then, of course, sharing is anytime that one of your supporters, your customers, someone on your list talks to an outsider. So, first off, let me kind of go back to this slide. So I'm going to tell you the 3 ways that you can use this in your organization. First is an audit. So what you do is you draw this up here on your idea paint wall in your office, and then you you make your canvas, and you say talking, listening, engaging, and sharing, and you plot out all the owned media items that you're doing today, your email list. Well, that goes in talking. And your Facebook, maybe that's some listening, some talking, maybe some engaging. And so you plot it all out. And then what you do is you ask yourself the business question. What am I trying to do? Am I trying to get more new customers, more new donors, more new supporters? Or am I trying to get the people who are already connected to me to get more connected to me, to give more, to buy more, to do more? So if you're wanting to grow your audience, then you do talking and sharing, right? You need to create content. You need to be out there. You need to be in front of people. But you also need to be able to get that scale. You need to be building those talking objects, the videos, your blog posts, in a way that when people interact with them, they feel compelled to share that message with their friends, with their connections. And so that's how you get new people in. Now, if you're trying to strengthen the relationships you already have, you need to listen and you need to engage. And so you need to be out there looking at the analytics, see what pages on your website people are spending a lot of time on, maybe do more of that. If people are bouncing off pages, they're not sticking around, drop it. And same thing with engaging. You got to look for opportunities to do it there. Now, talking and listening, what they have in common is that they are organization-centric activities. You, your staff, or social driver when you hire us, has to do this piece of it for you. Somebody actually has to create the content, create the videos, look at the analytics. But down here, and this is a real great thing, is you get to empower your audience, and you have to empower them. If you don't empower them, they're not going to share and engage. It's not like people just accidentally do, sharing and engaging. You have to build it in. You have to provide a platform for them, whether it's your Facebook page or comments and the thing. You have to tell people it's okay to share. Please share. Ask them, and then they will. So we call that the empowered audience. But those are things that somebody on your staff, all you have to do is set up the platform and the rules to be able to do it. So, review. With the Social Driver Canvas, the first thing you do is you audit your current owned media. I don't know if I said the third thing you can do. 2, you think through the cycle. This is the one that I didn't walk through. Is the Social Driver Canvas has listening, talking, listening, engaging, and sharing. But I like to start at the listening box, because then you can know what blog posts you need to write, what videos people are looking for. You look at analytics, you look at AdWord data, you look at all this stuff. And so you listen first, then you create your content, you talk, you ask people to share, and then once they're in, you ask them to engage. So there's a cycle there. And then 3, you build your plan and you measure it against the canvas. Is one part of your plan too heavy? Like, do you have way too much stuff in talking, but you know that most of your leads come through word of mouth? Well, maybe you should be doing more things in the sharing and engaging box. So that's the Social Driver Canvas, and I'm happy to take any of your questions.